everyone, welcome to the Safe Space Between Us. I'm your host, Kieran, and today we've got the lovely guest, Darren from Andy Man's Club. Darren, how are you, mate?
I'm not too bad. That was quite an emotional beginning, wasn't it?
Yeah, it just choked me up every time.
Yeah.
And we talk about, obviously, why I do that and obviously what you do. Um, Darren, obviously, before we jump straight in and talk about everything Andy Man's Club and the mission, etc., I just want to say on behalf of myself and many guys out there, we respect totally and love everything Andy Man's Club is about and represents. And I thank you guys for the mission and how far you have come over the years as well. So credit to you guys. So Darren, obviously, just a quick introduction. Introduce yourself, where you're from, what you kind of do, and then we get started, mate.
Yep, certainly. Well, my name's Darren Edwards. I actually work for the charity, so I'm a project development champion for the Southeast. So I cover most of the South, up to Hertfordshire, Buckinghamshire. And my job role is to spread the word about Andy's Man Club, find venues for the club as well, and get guys in those venues and get them talking. All the venues that we open are run by volunteers. No one is paid to open an Andy's Man Club, so it's all volunteers who've stepped through the door for the first time, and that's my basic remit. Is to get guys through the door.
Yeah, and I love it. Like I say, there's so much that you guys are doing that isn't out there. Or this area where I'm from doesn't know much about Andy Man's Club, but as we've spoken off air, there is plan missions to try and make that happen. But I just want to start from the beginning, if you don't mind, Darren. Like, how did Andy Man's Club tell people who watch live or watch later? Just tell us how Andy Man's Club come about and how it all started, if you don't mind.
No, that's not a problem at all. So how Andy's Man Club started is 7 years ago. A young man called Andy Roberts unfortunately took his own life with no indicators whatsoever. He had a massive argument with his partner at the time over the weekend, and then took his own life early Tuesday morning. So Luke Handler, his brother-in-law, and Elaine Roberts, his mum, wanted to set something up to get guys talking. And it was going to be a coffee club to start off with, and then they had a bit more of a thought about it, and then it came, oh, let's do it on a Monday, because Blue Monday, is the highest rated day for suicides in the UK. So Luke just did a little interview on Sky Sports, because he's an ex-rugby league player, and that night, 9 guys turned up, which was phenomenal, with no real advertising or anything like that. And the fact that those 9 guys turned up on the very first evening, it started the process of Andy's Man Club. So initially, they had the one club in Halifax, and it started to expand. So the next 2 years went from 1 club, 2 clubs, 3 clubs, and by the end of 5 years, they were at 50 clubs. So that was a huge thing for them. They didn't expect to get to 50 clubs in 5 years. Then COVID hit, and it impacted everything. We couldn't go into the clubs, so they started an online process, which they didn't think would work, because obviously it's not face-to-face. It's not a proper, they class it as peer-to-peer support, but it is, because it works. It's still working now. Then 2 years later, so we've gone from 50 clubs 2 years ago. We're now just about to open our 130th club.
Wow.
In the UK, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And the fact that you get nearly 3,000 guys through the door on a Monday night, 3,000 guys go home to their families on Monday night. So, it's phenomenal.
I apologise if I choked out. It's amazing what you guys do, and I just really find it hard that people just don't understand how hard it is for men to talk out there. And still to this day, and what you do, I credit you guys, because it's just really, without you guys and certain other groups out there as well, there have been so many more people commit suicide. And I've tried it last year, and it's just, I have to say, the online thing, I actually joined one of them because of I didn't know who to talk to, and I have to say, Andy Man's Club. I'm sorry, Jesus Christ.
No, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. Well, if I explain to you how Andy's Man Club works, so you've got a bit of time to
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's all right, not a problem. So Andy's Man Club is a peer-to-peer support group. It provides a safe place for men to come and talk about anything. It's totally free. It's open to anyone over the age of 18 who identifies as a male. It just come along, come through the door. Hardest thing you can do is come through the door for the first time. And once you come through that door and you realise that there are men in that room who get what you're talking about, have the same life experience that you've got, so you're not alone in facing what you're trying to combat at the time. You do not have to be suicidal. You do not have to be suffering from a mental illness. It can just be day-to-day life. I've had a crap day at work, or the family are driving me nuts, or someone cut me up on the motorway and it's made me insane. It's to come along and just talk in the room. The thing with Andy's Man Club, it's very structured. So every Monday night, no matter which club you go to in the UK, it's the same setup. You come in, you're welcomed by the guys who are all wearing their Andy's Man Club stuff. Come in, free tea, free coffee, free biscuits. That's enough to get anyone through the door. And then it's very simple. It's very structured. So we have a ball that's stressful, and that controls the room. So whoever has the ball at the time controls the room. Questions are easy. Name, reason for being here. New guys just can mumble their name and then pass the ball on. Then we don't have to talk if you don't want to talk. Some guys, they won't talk for 2 weeks, but there may be something that resonates across the circle, and they'll go, oh yeah, he's going through what I'm going through, so I can actually express how I'm feeling a little bit. Then we have 5 questions. So these 5 questions, 3 of them stay the same each week. Then there's 2 questions that change week on week. So you've got the first 3 questions is, how's your week been? We don't need to know every single minute of every single day. You can just say, oh, it's been good, it's been crap, it's been truly awful, but I'll come on to that in question 3. So this is where question 3 comes in. It's quite an important one. Question 2, anything positive from your week? You're here. That's a positive.
Yeah.
So that's quite an easy one. You'll get guys who'll say, yeah, I've had a job interview. Thanks to you guys for giving me a bit of impetus to actually go and find a job, or I finally managed to get in to see the doctor, or I've made up with the wife from the argument we had last week. And it's little things like that. Then question 3, which they call the shit sandwich. Anything to get off your chest. It's as simple as that. It can be anything. Some of the guys who do question 3, it's not a bad thing. It may be something really positive that they really want to say about, and from something that's been really awful for them, and they've had a positive outcome for it. Then we have a break. So we have tea, coffee, guys go for a smoke, get some fresh air. We generally talk about, if anyone's brought anything really heavy up, question 3, we'll have a chat about it. You're okay. It's all taken in. And then question 4, I like to call the thinking question. So it can be, you can invite 4 people to dinner. Who would they be and why? So that sort of brings you back into the moment and gets you thinking about other things. And then question 5, which is quick fire. So name your favourite movie, name your favourite song, which way round you put the toilet roll. So that's the sort of thing we talk about. Then we have a little bit of a cool down at the end. So check everything's okay. The most important thing, part of those questions, it's anything that's said in the room stays in the room. The baggage stays in the room. And anything that comes up where guys might say, oh, I'm having problems seeing my kids, there'll be someone in that room who's gone through that process. And they'll be able to give them a little bit of advice. We won't be saying, oh, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do. This is how long it's going to take, mate. It's going to take 4 months, it's going to take 5 months. But we're here to support you all the way through. And then because you've come to even if you go on the online one, or if you go to a face-to-face meeting, you then are invited into a closed Facebook group. If you haven't got a Facebook account, then we'll help set you up a Facebook account just for Andy's Man Club. Invite you in. It's exactly the same process. Whatever's said in the closed Facebook group stays in there. but we use it for organising events. So there's guys who go fishing, guys who go on bike rides, dog walks, coffee mornings, bowling, anything that the guys want to do outside of that Monday night. That's where we sort it all out. So it becomes a bit more of a fellowship with the guys. And the most important thing as well with that is if we organise events, it's not just for the guys. Families are invited as well, because families are just as important to us as the guys walking through the door. Most of the guys who walk through that door have been told by their mum, their wife, their partner, their sister, their daughter, go to Annie's Man Club, get it off your chest. Whatever's troubling you, go in there and shout about it. We get guys who come in and we'll have tears, we'll have laughter, we'll have tears again, and then we'll have laughter. But the fact you can see that guys, when they come through the door and they're like this, no interaction whatsoever, and they can go out with a head held a little bit higher, and you can see they've got a little bit of a spring in their step as they go out the door, because they've got rid of all that baggage, and that baggage stays in the room.
No, I absolutely love that. Again, everything you've discussed, I saw it on Emmerdale, your process. I saw the process on Emmerdale, and you're right. And to be fair, I love what you do. I didn't know about the Facebook group and the events you do with families. So credit to Andy Man's Club to you do that additionally to everything you do, and it's just amazing, inspiring. And I'm so sorry that I toked up before. It's just something that really I'm strong about, because I just don't think enough is spoken about, apart from Annie Man's Club, but in my community, not enough is spoken about it, and too many people are committing suicide or feel alone. And I've been there before, and it's a dark place where you don't want anyone to go or feel. So again, credit to every single person involved in Annie Man's Club. I love it. I love it completely so much. Obviously, you hear some emotional stories. How do you guys, like, obviously it must hit you sometimes when it's the things you hear. How do you guys cope with yourself and like the self-care? What do you do for yourselves?
Well, if I tell you my story about how I started my journey with mental health and how I found Andy's Man Club, and then I'll come back to
That's fine.
we cope. Yeah. So my story started 7 years ago, almost exactly the time as Andy's Man Club started. My first wife, Leanne, unfortunately was bullied at work, and because of it, she had a psychotic episode, and she was sectioned, bless her. And within 3 months of her being sectioned, she died by suicide. So
sorry.
I was welcomed into the world of mental health. I didn't really pay much attention. We were happily bobbing along with normal life. And then it took me 2 years to get an apology for what had happened. That's from her work and from the services that were looking after her. And then all of a sudden, because I hadn't grieved, bang, grief depression hit me. And I fell into, the best way I can put it is I fell into a well, and there wasn't much light down there. I was functioning. I was still getting up in the morning. I was still going to work. I was coming home. I've got 2 dogs, so I was walking the dogs. Probably they actually pulled me out more than anything. The fact that I could actually go out and walk the dogs. The one thing you find with mental illness, because it was a mental illness, it was depression, is that you lose all your friends. I lost every single friend apart from 2. That's how small my circle. They didn't know how to cope with me. They didn't know how to lift me up. I mean, my family were absolutely brilliant. They just, whenever I needed them, they were there. So that whole grief depression thing, what I did at work, and I still don't remember it to this day. I was in a factory. I was on a forklift, and I went through a partition wall. I didn't even know I'd done it. That's how I was just functioning. So they were brilliant. After going, well, what have you done? Well, I don't know, but there's a wall with a big forklift hole in it. I guess I don't remember doing it. So they said, right, we're going to sign you off for a month. That's without even going to the doctors. Right, you're off for a month. Go and get yourself some proper help. And luckily, I was fortunate enough that I could pay for the help. So I went and basically was sort of soft resetted without medication or anything like that. It was just through talking. My brain had the filing system had just gone poof, and so I didn't know people's names. I'd known for 30 years. I didn't know what date it was, months, or anything like that. So whenever I go and meet someone, I knew their face, and I had to go through the alphabet. So I was going A, B, C, D until I got to, oh, that's probably their name. And then they go, because people understood, and they go, right, it's Dave. Oh, right, Dave. And then immediately that file, and that, so it then went back into the filing system. So, oh, that's Dave with his face. Yeah, bang, that's back into Dave. It took me a long time, but I was still very anxious about everything. So I was with another charity, which was a suicide bereavement charity. And that it was a case of just talking about, how you lost your loved one. So it's very broad spectrum. But someone in that suggested to me, why don't you try costuming or cosplay, as they call it? So you could wear a mask and you could go outside and not be yourself. So I thought, right, okay, then I'll do it. So I went out and bought a costume and went to a free community day. And my anxiety went straight through the roof. And I stood in the same spot for 4 hours. I didn't move. People were coming up to me and taking photographs and things like that. And eventually one of the other costumers came up to me, and it's probably what snapped me out of it, brought me into the moment. He said, that's a brilliant costume, mate. Come on, I'll grab you by the hand and we'll walk around the rest of the event. And if he hadn't done that, I probably would never put a costume on again. But that led to doing events, doing charity work, going to hospices, doing all that sort of thing as a character, and seeing people's faces light up or kids' faces light up. And we did a little festival, children's festival, and I walked in and there was this black gazebo on the side, which I won't pay much attention to that because you don't, do you? These two guys came into the festival and said, oh, can we have a photograph? And I said, yeah, sure you can. So, oh, no, come outside because we've got a gazebo outside. I just want you to have a photograph. And they went, right, we want you to do this. I went, right, okay, so what's this about then? And you know when it's the perfect time, perfect timing. That was perfect timing for me. So 2 years ago, I was introduced to two guys from Andy's Man Club in Gosport on a Saturday. They said, right, come along Monday night and see what you feel like. It's the hardest thing you can do is walk through the door. But as soon as I walked through that door, I knew it was the place for me because I could just talk utter bollocks. No one would roll their eyes at me. And you could actually verbalize it and get it out of your head. Because sometimes if you don't get it out of your head, then you do lead to certain situations. And it's the fact that they help the little things solve that problem, that then solves that problem, that solves that problem, that solves that problem, rather than trying to do it all at once and be all over the place. And then they offered me a chance to become a facilitator. So again, you're a volunteer, but you start to lead the groups. So you ask the questions, you make sure everyone's okay. And that's coming on to that part where you say, well, what do you hear in the room? Some of the stuff you hear in the room has shocked me, if I'm totally honest. And the fact that the guys can actually say it in the room. And you've got the guys who are listening. They're not slouching back in their chairs. They're not rolling their eyes. They're not tutting. They are actually listening to what the guys have to say. And some of it's been really hammering. But what we do, and this is where at the end of the evening, we do the debrief. So that 10 minutes or so at the end of the evening, say, right, guys, thanks ever so much for sharing what you've shared today. But remember, the baggage stays here. No one has to pick that baggage up for you. We've got guys who have autism, ADHD, and social anxiety, and they try to pick up the bags and walk out with them. So it's explaining to them as much as anything. But everyone gets it. Everyone understands. Sometimes you do go home and you go, wow, that was a heavy session. And then you put it to bed. We've all become very good at listening to what people are saying and then realizing, that's part of our journey as well.
Yeah.
So we're helping them, we're supporting them. and then you do put it in bed. Obviously, if you do get safeguarding issues where someone is threatening harm to others, then that's taken out of the club's hands, because that is then put onto the office, or you dial for the relevant services
Yeah.
to deal with it at the time. So it is very much guys coming in, putting their crap in the middle of the floor, and then walking home without carrying that crap out, because it doesn't need to be carried out. If they put it there and verbalise what's going on, you'll get guys who, the roller coaster. So they'll be up here and down there, then up here and down here, week on week. And all we do is support them. And it's the fact that you can get little messages that come back to you. Thank you for giving my husband back. Thank you for giving my son back. And then them coming in and saying, I can actually talk to my partner. I can talk to my mum. I can talk to my kids as well. And the fact that it's got everyone talking in that family about mental health, rather than what we do at home. I've got to be like this. I'm the hunter gatherer. I've got to provide everything for my family, but secretly inside, you're just breaking up.
Yeah.
How to cope with everything that's going on around you. So hopefully that answers that question in a very long-winded way.
Personally, I'm deeply sorry of what happened. And I know sorry don't change anything, but I'm so sorry you went through that. And I'm not that we know. I'm proud of you, how you've turned that around, and obviously, as you say, that day of just bumping into Andy Mann's club, etc. Things happen for a reason. The way I look at life at the moment is things happen for a reason, and maybe you've had to go through so much. I've watched my French here. So much during life to get to what you're doing now, and the helping what you do and supporting others. And I salute you. I salute you and everyone involved at Andy Mann's club. And what I was going to say, obviously, what you are doing, people don't realise. I know many people realise. People don't realise how many lives you are. Just like you said, you're getting thousands of men going home to speak to their family, to show their family now it's okay to talk about your feelings, talk about mental health, and get that whole family. So not even those men you're saving families and children and women, etc. at the same time. And I cannot wait to try and get involved with something like this. It's just amazing. Do you, as you personally though, like put your personal hat for a second, how do you feel with the stigma out there? So for me, for example, I think the stigma, and this is just my view, is really worse than ever. I find men want to speak out more and more each day, but then when they get told to man up, or get told to grow up, or get told, oh, you just got issues and stuff like that, or when they look at social media and realise people around me are not going to support me, that's when it leads to major other things. That's my belief. What is your personal view on the stigma around that?
It's actually the same. It is. You've got to break down that barrier. You've got to get people talking, and it doesn't matter who you talk to. To be a man, it's you have to be the provider, and it's not like that anymore. It's an equal playing field. So most of even though we're a non-referral charity, most of our referrals come from women telling their men to go and talk about it. So that actual part of bit man up and everything else, and because Andy's Man Club is starting to get out there. It started off in the north, and it's huge up there, and it's now breaking down into the southern counties. And the fact that people are starting to know about it, we're doing podcasts, we're doing festivals, we're doing live feeds, and we're doing everything like that, and getting the word out there. People are starting to talk, and that's all we want. We want people to talk about Andy's Man Club, talk about Man Club, talk about iTalk, talk about any services that are available for people to go and express how they're feeling without being judged. That's the most important thing, because if you go somewhere and you feel like you're being judged, you won't go again.
Exactly.
Because the people, you think, no, they're not listening to me, they don't understand me. And the fact that at the moment we've got such a good reputation within like the medical services, so the mental health services and stuff like that, people who have ended up unfortunately in hospital they are told about Andy's Man Club. See if you can go along to an Andy's Man Club and see how much it can help you, because we are there. Bang, Monday, we are there, where you don't have to wait, because some of the services, unfortunately, because they are so full, you have to wait 3, 4, 5, 6 months. We can help you start talking now. And when you start talking in a group full of men who are listening to you, when you do get the chance to go to those services, you're in a better place to talk and know that you can say whatever you want to say in that service, rather than thinking, oh, I can't say this because they'll say, oh, he's a absolute head case. You're not. You're just going through a struggle. You're going through a storm at the moment, and all storms pass. But we're here to help the guys, the friends, the work colleagues, family, help the guys through that storm, help them get into a better place so that they can, this is how Andy's Man Club works. Once they go through that storm and they get into a better place, they want to help out. They want to help get the next guy through the door. And that's what it's all about. And the fact that we can get, when we do like our awareness stalls in supermarkets and things like that, we get all sorts of people coming up. What is it all about? Right, okay then. Right, I'll see you on Monday. And these guys rock up on a Monday. There's a little story that I like to tell that happened about 2 months ago now. We were in a local Asda, and it was on a Sunday, and we were just packing up. So it's about 3:30. These kids came up with their hoodies up on their scooters. What's all this about, bruv? All right, it's a mental health awareness charity. But the great thing about these kids, they were all, yeah, and they were saying, right, oh, what's free? What's free? I remember we had some little key rings left and stuff like that. So we gave them to them and say, right, do you guys talk to each other about how you're feeling? Yeah, we do. We talk about all sorts of crap that we're going through. I said, right, brilliant. That's what we want to hear. If you can talk now, hopefully you won't have to come to an Andy's Man Club when you're older. And then they went, all right, come on then, guys, let's all go. And then one guy, probably about 14 years old, he stopped for a minute. He said, can I take a card, please? So we have these little cards. We have a suicide awareness card, and we have a storm card. And he said, oh, I want it for my dad. Right, okay then. Here you go. So that was at 3:30 on a Sunday. 6:30 following night, this guy came up to the venue with a card in his hand, and he said, my son gave me this and told me to come along. That for us was phenomenal.
You're choking me again. Jesus Christ. I never get emotional. Jesus Christ.
But the fact is that guy listened to his son, and now he still turns up week on, week out, and he said him and his son have got the best relationship they've ever had, because they talk about everything. There's no holds barred with them. And you know what it's like when you've got teenagers? They are a pain in the butt. They're judgmental. They don't give a damn. But he said the fact that him and his son are talking as a family, understanding what everyone's going through. With teenagers, with all the testosterone with the boys and everything else that's going on with the girls, they do go through a huge amount of mental stress. But if you can get them talking now, hopefully somewhere down the line they'll be talking to someone else.
Yeah, and I love it because that's what I'm kind of saying in my community. Like, we need to get the kids talking, show the kids. So the way I look at it is, if I got hit by a bus tomorrow, is my kids ready for this world to talk about the feelings? No, they're not. They're not. No. Because I'm not teachers. I don't blame teachers. I think there's amazing teachers out there, amazing volunteers, amazing people out there. But I think the system is letting a lot of kids down, and that's why I'm so passionate as well about children, because my son has been through shit, and I know, he was registered under CAMS, going through bullying and stuff like that, and he has turned himself around. But to hear that there was a 14-year-old who come up to you and done that, I salute that young man. I hope he has a bright future. He clearly does. And I love the kids out there, because they just need that guiding. The kids just need guiding to know, if they can see me and you talking, and Joe Blogs down the road and that lady down the road, etc., and they're going to see, well, you know what, my dad's talking, so it's not embarrassing, because at the moment it's that word embarrassment and shame, like, your dad's got mental illness or mental health problem. No, we're all going to suffer it at one stage at a time.
Yeah.
And like with me, mine is kind of trauma. When I was 14, I went through abuse and stuff like that, and it's all come and hit me last year. And at that time, I thought, I was made to feel like it's embarrassing to talk. My friends, due to my own fault as well, but not all my fault. My friends who I thought my friends wasn't friends, they, and then I turned to drink and cocaine, which I've been open about and stuff. But without my son and my missus, I'd probably be dead by now, because I tried it. And they made me see, listen, you're not a bad person. And then people like Andy Man's Club, I'm not just saying this talking to you, I have contacted Andy Man's Club, and I'll say this to everyone listening. I contacted Andy Man's Club a year and a half ago when I was going through a tough time, and I think it was their Leeds branch. I might be wrong here, but I put contact. I'm in London, but this Leeds branch still took the time and effort to talk to me over the phone. And I have to say, without that, I don't know where I would have been today. And oh my God, I never get emotional. What is going on with me today? Jesus Christ, Andy Man's Club, man. I never get emotional. But seriously, it's just, I love what he's doing. Again, if we can get the kids talking, they won't need to come to Andy Man's Club. But what you do is saving men out there and families to talk. And I just hope that you guys obviously take care of yourself as well, because I know it's hard sometimes to listen to things and think, whoa. And it sounds like you got each other as well, and stuff like that to let things off. But like I said to you off air and before today, it's something I am so passionate about, and I would love to be involved in whatever I can do on my side. I'll do, because I do believe people around my area need to know what Andy Man's Club are about and what they do. And just having that little card in their pocket might save someone, or it is saving people. And again, like, I apologise for crying like a baby. I'd never cry. Jesus Christ, you've done something to me. What's going on?
This is the beauty of how Andy's Man Club works. We get guys in the room and they can let all their emotions out, and people don't judge them for it. Guys, can come in like you and give their story and have tears, and there'll be someone there go, right, you okay, mate? If you want to talk more about it, then we'll talk more about it. But it's the fact that you can have that pressure release. You can have it through any emotion you want to have in that evening. Your tears, your laughter. Some people shout from the rooftops because that's the only way they can alleviate what's going on in their brains. But all the guys listen, all the guys pay attention to what's going on, and they take it in. And it's the fact that you when you look around the room and you've got all the guys on the edge of their seats listening to what you're actually saying at the time. And if you're struggling and talking about things, and you look around and you can see people fixated on your story, that helps a tremendous amount, because you've got that thinking, oh, right, I'm not alone. Someone's listening to me talking about what I'm going through. They're not saying anything, oh, man up, pull yourself together, man. They're letting me have the tears, because they know that that's my form of release at that precise moment. And once you've had those tears, as you know yourself, once you've had some tears, the endorphins kick in a little bit, and so you start to feel a lot better anyway, because you've had those tears.
Do you know what? These tears. These tears. I've always hid my feelings, but it's just what you do. Like, I just applaud you, and I'm not just saying this. Like one of the lovely ladies, Carrie, who I met through doing this podcast and stuff. So it started off with Kieran, Safe Space Between Us. And as I said to you off air, I don't want to be a non-profit charity. I want to help people like the Andy Man's Club and stuff like that. Because what you do is amazing as it is. And Carrie, for example, she met her through this platform, and we've become, instead of Kieran, there's 5 of us behind the scenes now. And this is all due to podcasting. 3 of them I've not even met in person. I've only talked to them over video. And out all my life, and this is not about me, but all my life, I have been able to show my tears, show my emotion, tell my story, and all my life it's so 21 years, I'm 34 now, but 21 years to talk about things that happened in the past, and I might have bring in about my parents, how I was treated and stuff like that. And not once have I ever felt judged with people who are strangers. And to me, I relate to everything you've just said because, and any man out there, I keep saying this to on all my podcasts. Please, it's okay to talk. You're not alone. He's definitely not alone. Darren is a lovely guy. Darren, he's been through so much in his life, and look how he's turned it around. I've gone through stuff, and even though I'm crying now, I'm like, Jesus Christ, what's going on? But I do feel like you put me in a space where I feel comfortable. Like usually, I would hide that and think I've stopped podcasts right before where I feel am I going to get emotional? But you've made me feel comfortable and think, you know what? Regardless, it's something that's strong to me. It's something that I've tried to do. I've tried an overdose and stuff like that, and it didn't work. People say I'm a coward and stuff like that, but people do not understand how hard it is for a man to say, you know what, it's okay for me to talk. But when you knock that man back, it will change. It can cause so much damage. Just one comment of man up or grow up that killed me. That put me in a state of mind where I would take 42 tablets, took £3,000 worth of cocaine and stuff like that, and I woke up in hospital. And at that time, it's because of those comments of man up, grow a pair, and stuff like that. So I applaud you. I salute everything, anything Andy Man's Club does. And to make me cry, you deserve an award because I go around in my area that I'm some tough nut. I can't be cracked, but you've just cracked me. So I applaud you.
Yeah, but that's the beauty. That is the beauty of how we work. We don't judge people. If you want to cry, if you want to do anything that that helps you in that safe environment, then we applaud it because we know if you've had your tears or whatever you said, when you leave that door, that you're not carrying that out with you,
Yeah.
and you can actually go home and say, look, crikey, when your wife says to you, how did it go? I went, well, I was a bit of an idiot. I cried. And then she'll probably say, well, you weren't because you obviously needed to.
Mm. And it does take that. It does take that just to cry sometimes. The weight of your shoulders. Like, it just feels like, wow. And I just want, there's a few comments on here to you. So Carrie, she's a lovely lady. She does so much for me behind the scenes. But I mean, she is my PA. She is my everything and everything behind the scenes. She even books in when I need my self-care and stuff like that. So credit to her. So she's just saying like, if you guys need it's all free. If you guys need any trauma cards and stuff, all for free, she get that. She can send you some stuff or whatever. She said the raw emotions, two straight guys talking is heartwarming, lovely to see you guys. Someone's put love the openers, so that's from Lee. This is great setup. Wow, amazing. So like, I just salute everything. And even though this is live now, this is one podcast I am going to air non-stop because I think when it can just hit that one man on a train going to work, sitting on the toilet, going in bed, whatever it is, just watching this and go, Andy Man's Club, let me have a look at what they are. And
yeah. I was just about to say, so with regards to Andy's Man Club and how we get venues and how we spread the word, obviously, if you're listening in London, we only have one branch at the moment, which is in Barnet, but there is the online version. So all you have to do if you want to experience an Andy's Man Club and you can't get to a venue is to email the address, which is info@andysmanclub.co.uk, and ask them for online pass. The great thing about this is, yes, you send your email in, they will then send you the link for a Monday night, which works exactly the same as a face-to-face, peer-to-peer group. But once the session is finished, and this is an important one, once the session's finished and there's been no issues, your email address is wiped from the system. So you have to apply every single week. There is one question that when they send the link to you, there's one question they ask is, would you be interested in opening an Andy's Man Club? Now, the more people in London who go online and actually start doing the online sessions, it gives me great joy to see that people are going on there, because what we can do is, once you're in a good place, you've probably attended 8 or 9 online sessions, then you can be put forward to be a facilitator. And if you're then a facilitator in London, and we can get 3 or 4 of you together in the same borough, or 2 boroughs that are close together, then we can look at opening venues in that borough. And then that's where we start to really see the impact, because once you get guys in a room talking face to face, they're all volunteers, so that no one is paid to open up a club. All the clubs are run by volunteers. Is to get guys in the room. Then once you get those guys in the room, they start talking to their mates. Their mates come along. They start talking to people. They start spreading the word themselves. They'll be at train stations distributing cards, distributing leaflets. Then you get more guys through the door. Then we can open up another club, and we leapfrog all over London and open up clubs. Yeah, like I say, I've only got one at the moment, but once you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, the way it will grow will just be phenomenal, because people want to come along. The problem is we've got to get those people and just sort of cover them a little bit and get them trained up. And then once we've done that, and the fact that we can get pubs open, we can get people like you talking on podcasts, we can get other people talking on local radio stations, on national radio stations. That's what it's all about. And it is just getting people chatting, talking about anything at all. So that's basically, I'm just going like, please.
Please. Look, I'll make you, and I'll say this live, when I say things to the members on the safe space between us, is I'll make a promise and I'll stick to it. I'll make you a promise, and Andy Man's Club and every man out there, that I will, as we spoke, we'll keep in contact, we're arranging me up. I am so eager and interested in doing that, exactly what you need of me to be able to open an Andy Man's Club in SE18 is because it's needed. There's men out here, and even people turning 18 who I know for a fact they need to talk, they need that safe space. And yeah, I'm going to do everything I can, whatever you need from me, I'm there, mate. I'm 100 billion% there. And you can keep me to that. It's just something I want to be involved in. I just love it. I love everything we're doing. But before we wrap up, Darren, I just want to let you have the kind of the last word. So everything Andy Man's Club, but also there might be someone listening to this today, tomorrow, next week, who really struggling. And I like to give the guests the opportunity of just a message to them people. So if there's someone out there who's scared to talk, gets told to grow up, they're scared, they feel judged, what would your message be to them as a person, and plus from Andy Man's Club?
It doesn't just have to be Andy's Man Club, but anyone who will listen to you and talk and verbalise what's going on in your brain, or anything that's going on in your life at the moment that you're not happy about, just seek that one person. We've all got one. Everyone has got that one person who they can talk to and who will listen and will nod their head and will go, right, mate, how are we going to deal with it? But, if you have to reach out further, please do. Please reach out to whoever, will be willing to listen to you. And there are so many charities, there are so many organisations that will just listen to what you have to say, and they won't judge you for what you're saying. And so the most important thing, it's our motto, and it's okay to talk. So remember that.
Love that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And don't worry, I'm going to get that sign printed all over Plumstead SE18. Trust me, I'm on a mission. And like I say, I know you said to me before we come on live about, I don't want it to interrupt what you're doing, mate. what yous are doing, and regardless of what I'm doing, the Safe Space Between Us podcast, I have a brilliant little volunteer group behind me who run my Facebook page. The podcast is just to be able to, anyone, man, woman, child, they want to talk and tell the story. But there is nothing that won't stop me involved helping you guys, telling you that, and I'm saying this live because I want you to be assured that you probably had a lot of people say we're up for it, and obviously for whatever reasons, their own health and many other things and commitment, people can't be committed. But I'm telling you, I'm committed, mate. So whatever you want, and we sort out that meet up. But I really want to say on behalf of myself, every man out there, every family member out there, every child out there, every member from the Safe Space Between Us, I salute you. I really do. And I appreciate everything Andy Man's Club does. And I appreciate you taking, Jesus Christ, I'm choking up. What's wrong with you? I appreciate everything you do. But I'm so sorry about today. I don't know why I'm doing it. I really appreciate everything. And you to take the time off, again, to reschedule due to my mess ups and my brain of doing other things, and to reschedule so quickly. I really appreciate that because I understand that you're a busy guy. So thank you so much.
No, thank you.
No, thank you, mate. And on that note, I've been your host, Kieran. That's been Darren from Andy Man's Club. Every link, if you want to know more, I will add every link and anything Andy Man's Club on the podcast and onto our Facebook group. And as you say, please feel free to email the Safe Space Between Us or Andy Man's Club. But thanks for watching, everyone. Take care.